Yo, what's up, people? Welcome back. Today, I'm bringing you an OU battle. It's been a while since I uploaded something. It's like I was just busy with the freaking giveaway, and I was making some Pokemon because I plan on going to RU for a little bit. Because it's like, you know how I am. I used to just do OU Ubers. Then I went into UU. I did good. They're just trying to learn at least some basic stuff. And I got owned in RU, so wait a second. I decided that I'm going to try RU, but now I have an OU battle. I'm just basically using some people that I haven't used before. I wanted to use Skarmory, Latios, and I have Charizard X with the Diggersby. And so I'm going to go ahead and get right into the battle. Okay, so I'm going to lead off with my Latios because I figure that it's going to be the best lead since this Choice Scarf can outspeed most of his team as he leads with this Slowbro. I know this Slowbro is a Mega Slowbro because we battled before and it was just annoying as hell because it just started setting up Calm Minds over the place and Slowbro is just broken off the ass. So I'm going to go for Draco Meteor just to get as much damage as I can. And I know it's going to do like 70 damage, and I knew that like Draco Meteor is a 2-hit KO, but I forgot all about Calm Mind, and I'm like, it's not going to kill if he sets up Calm Minds, and that's just terrible. So this thing could just rest away all the damage. I was wondering if this thing was rest or not. So I'm going to switch out into my Rotom because I know that this thing has Scald and all, and it's just going to set up another Calm Mind, or something like that, or most likely go for a rest. But he actually goes for a Slack Off, which is great. Since he doesn't have rest, I can whittle it down by going for Will-O-Wisp. And that's just great. I mean, it's great that it didn't have rest because rest, the Slowbros can be ass. And he's just going to set up another Calm Mind. This thing is just setting up, and this thing is horrible. A Choice Banded Diggersby with Wild Charge will do like 50% to this thing. This thing is just broken off the ass. So I'm going to go for Volt Switch just to get a little bit of extra damage off on this thing. And I'm just going to switch right back out into Latios. Since I know he resists both of his stabs, and at +2 this does a lot of damage, but it will not be able to 2-hit KO. So I'm in here and I'm good. This thing is below 50% and I know it's in range of a Draco Meteor. As he actually switches out into Klefki on the Draco Meteor, that's a good play, but I didn't want to risk this thing going for a Slack Off knowing that I would predict the Klefki coming out. So at this point I'm just going to go into my Diggersby because it can go for a freaking Thunder Wave as he sets up spikes, and I don't like that. Last time he was setting up Reflection Light Screens. As he just changed his set. This is like our second battle. He just changed up his set all over the place. Is at this point he's going to go out into his Landorus on my Earthquake. I didn't want to fool around with that Klefki as I knew it can set up screens. As now I can go out to my Skarmory just pretty much as a wall to this Landorus as he's going to set up Stealth Rocks, and that's just terrible. So I'm like, hey, Landorus, if you want to set up your rocks, I'm going to set up my rocks. Because I want my rocks, I want this residual damage. So he actually goes out into his Raikou as I set up my rocks, which is not bad because I do have some people that can switch in on it. Naming my Excadrill because my Excadrill can take anything. It's Assault Vest, and I could just get a Rapid Spin off on this Excadrill. With my Excadrill. So I'm going to take the Spikes damage and the Rocks damage, which is unfortunate. But he does go for the Shadow Balls, knowing that I'm going to switch out into my Excadrill, but I know it's not going to 2-hit KO, so the Shadow Ball, he's going to go for another Shadow Ball, and I'm going to live it, and I'm going to get off a Rapid Spin, which is great. So these rocks and the spikes are off my field. So at this point, I know he's going to probably go for another Shadow Ball, but I can go out into my Diggersby, so that Shadow Ball is not going to affect me at all. And I can pretty much go for what I want. And I decide I'm going to go for the U-turn, knowing that he's going to switch out. As he switches out into Landorus, which is great. And at this point, I figured that Landorus was like leftovers or something, because last time I battled him, he was leftovers, I think. He wasn't outspeeding much. But that U-turn is going to do a good chunk to him. So I'm going to switch out into my Latios. And this is a bad play. I thought that he was leftovers, so I wanted to trick this thing, knowing he's probably going to go for a freaking Stealth Rock, but turns out that I get the Choice Scarf right back, and he's Choice Scarf, and he's going to kill me with U-turn, so that was actually a very bad play. My Latios just went in here and did nothing, which is very unfortunate. I should have just went straight for the Draco Meteor. But he's actually going to go into his Breloom right now, and that Breloom was not there. He's changing everything this match, and I was just like in a panic because I didn't take a picture of his team, and he just changed his team all over. So I'm going to go ahead and go into my Charizard. I know I can beat a Breloom, outspeed it, go for a Flare Blitz and knock it out. But I'm gonna go ahead Mega Evolve on this freaking Slowbro and go for the Flare Blitz, and that's just gonna do nothing because Slowbro is an asshole. So I'm gonna go for the Flare Blitz, and you're gonna see just how much of no shit I just did. That did nothing to that Slowbro, but thanks to the Stealth Rocks and the burn, he's gonna be in range of Dragon Claw. Well, he's gonna be in range of Dragon Claw anyway, but that's just nice to just make sure. So this Slowbro does go down. It didn't put in too much work this match, thanks to Rotom's burning and all that. As he actually goes out in the Klefki. I know this Klefki wanted to go for a freaking Thunder Wave because that's the only thing it can go do versus a Charizard X, or it's just gonna plain die. Because I didn't want my Charizard X being Thunder Waved. So I decided to go out in my Extra Drill, as I decided to go for Iron Head this turn, thinking that he would switch out into his Landorus, and I didn't want this thing foul playing me because I do need my Extra Drill. So I went straight for an Earthquake, and he actually makes a good play. He switches out into his own Extra Drill, which is actually floating on Air Balloon. Like I said, we battled before. I know his set, well, at least some of these sets. So that's unfortunate. This Extra Drill is in here. I figured that he would go for a Rapid Spin, but I didn't want to guess that, so I just went on to my Skarmory, as I do avoid an Earthquake, which is great. I'm glad I didn't guess. As he sets up Stealth Rocks with his Extra Drill, and I'm like, why do you have so many Stealth Rocks on your team? I know I do the same thing, as I actually do not have Defog on his Skarmory. I wanted Defog on his Skarmory, but you have to go all the way back to Diamond and Pearl, as this Klefki is going to come out. So I have to switch out and pretty much go. I should have went into my Extra Drill because he can't Thunder Wave me, but I was fearing a foul play. I should have went into my Extra Drill, used Rapid Spin, but I just switched out into my Rotom to dodge a Thunder Wave and a foul play. As I figured that a Hydro Pump would be a good move, but I figured that I could miss, and I don't want this thing sitting up all over, and I figured at this point that it would be great. I should have just made a hard switch into my Extra Drill, as I do go for Volt Switch. He sets up spikes, and that's just going to let my Extra Drill dash just coming in. I was just hoping that he would live a spike, but no, he doesn't. As my Extra Drill does go down, so these Stealth Rocks and these spikes are here to stay, and that's going to be a lot of damage because this Klefki can set up another spike. So at this point, I go out into my diggersby, which is freaking Power Incarnate. I wish I had Return on this thing, but I had Facade, because think about like a Choice Banded freaking burn boost, like status boosted Facade hitting somebody, it's just going to hurt a lot, as a Return would have killed, but I went for Facade instead of Earthquake because he still has that Landorus on his team, as he sets up another spike, and he actually sets up a Reflect, and that's terrible because I'm not going to be doing crap physically to his Pokemon. So the Klefki does go down, which is great, but I know he doesn't have those freaking what's the name of them? Those freaking the Light Clay, so the Reflect won't stay too much. As I go out into my Skarmory just to wall this thing as much as I can, as he actually goes for a Seed Bomb, and that won't be doing jack shit because my Skarmory is defensive as hell, and he has Poison Heal. So I'm thinking like this Breloom, it has Poison Heal, is behind the Reflect, and he actually goes for Spore. So my Skarmory is asleep, and I really don't mind because my Skarmory is Rocky Helmet, and you really can't do much to me, as he sets up a Leech Seed, so you pretty much plan on stalling me out. But my Skarmory does wake up, and I'm able to go for a Brave Bird, and that really shouldn't do too much because of the Reflect, but I actually get a critical hit, which is great, so this Breloom goes down. In the match, I figured that it wouldn't matter because I forgot all about the Reflect. So he actually goes out into his Raikou. I was actually hoping for like a bad play on this part, like he actually goes for HP Ice, predicting my Diggersby or extra sensory, but he just goes straight for a Volt Switch, and he knocks out my Skarmory, which is bad because I have nothing to take on this Landorus anymore. So he actually does get the switch out, and speaking about Landorus, he actually goes into Landorus, and well, I said that I have nothing to pretty much do anything against his U-turn shenanigans, as Rocky Helmet Skarmory would be great against it. But now I have Rotom. It does kind of hurt his Landorus because he can't go for Earthquake, and I know he doesn't have knockoff based on how he was playing it. And because he has stealth rocks. What am I saying? He had stealth rocks. And so I'm just going to go for a hydro pump on the switch out as he switches out into his Raikou. And this Raikou barely survives, which is terrible because I know this thing can go for an electric type move. But I do switch out knowing it's probably going to go for an electric type move. He can't win by risking it. He needs this Rotom off the field. And so I do go into my diggersby to take a Thunderbolt or a Shadow Ball if he went for a Shadow Ball. As he does go for Thunderbolt, and he's going to switch out this turn. As I knew he was going to switch out, I figured that the best move would be to go for a U-turn, as that does pay off, as this extra drill with an air balloon does come in. So I'm able to hit this thing with a U-turn, break his balloon, and this extra drill is just on the ground. Like, how the hell does a balloon lift up a freaking heavy steel type like extra drill? As I can go out into my Rotom, I know this thing does not have mold breaker, so my Rotom does do some work versus this thing. But I know this thing could get off a rapid spin before it goes. So he actually goes for the rapid spin at this turn. And I figured that it would be best to go for a hydro pump instead of Will-O-Wisp or something. But I missed the freaking hydro pump, which is unfortunate. And my Rotom is just going to take an attack from this thing. As he actually goes for Rock Slide. And I'm hoping not to get a flinch, as he actually gets a critical hit. So that's payback for the critical hit I got against this Breloom. As this extra drill is going to take a full power hydro pump, it does land this turn and it takes down the extra drill, which is great. I needed that thing off the field. But now that what's the name of it? That Raikou could come right back in, does not have to take that stealth rock damage and die. So I have to switch out. I have to switch out because I need my Charizard X and I need my Rotom just in case this Landorus does use Earthquake. So I know this thing is going to go for a U-turn. And I knew I wasn't going to live because of the freaking spikes and the stealth rock. So he goes for the U-turn and he knocks out my diggersby. And now he has to go right back out into that Raikou, which is actually pretty dang good because I know I am bulky Charizard X and he cannot 2-hit KO. So even after taking spikes and stealth rocks, I can take one attack. And I've thought about going for a Dragon Dance, but if he is Jolly, I will not outspeed, so it really won't matter. And if this thing is Choice Scarfed, I'm even in a worse position. So I went straight for a Dragon Claw, as I'm looking pretty bad. I'm really low, and if he has Stone Edge, he can knock me out. And if he uses U-turn, he can knock me out. And he actually goes for U-turn, and I thought I was a dead man, but I live with 5 HP, and he's going to take this Flare Blitz. And it doesn't matter because that Intimidate does not stop the power of freaking this Flare Blitz. And that's a good game. And that was a really nice game. If y'all want to see more, then hit the like button, subscribe button, do all that. And thanks for watching. Goodbye.